Happy Memorial Day, everybody. It's Monday. There's baseball starting soon. NBA and NHL. We got lots to talk about today. Three guests, Bryan, Leonard, Mark Zeno, and Tokyo Brandon. Bryan's going to take apart the Cubs and the Brewers, the Royals at the Twins. Zeno's going to look at the Cincinnati Reds game and the Washington gone blank game. And Tokyo has got two prop bets for us. Andy Lang is my co-host. Teddy went to the Dead Show, probably still recovering. How are you, Andy?
Oh, doing okay. Nice holiday weekend. It has rained here the entire time. So any plans outside are gone. Even the Indy 500 got rain delayed, and so I don't know. Not been the best of weekends, but happy to be here. And shout out to all veterans, retired and current veterans. This day is for you. Appreciate all your sacrifice and everything you've done for us. So we celebrate today, and we'll talk a little sports, mostly baseball. Big baseball day.
Yes, Andy. I thought the sun always shined on you, bro.
Oh my God, not this weekend. Like that was a pretty soft itch. My weekend's just been awful. Like personally, professionally, it's been like a horrific 3 days. So there you have it. No, the sun does not always shine on me. Nothing has been shining on me. It's been doing something on me, but it's not been shining on me.
Okay. Well, did you at least get action?
What's that?
You get some action at least?
That's one of the things that's not going well for me. Like I said, it's been a horrific 3 days, Prez. I really can't stress this enough how bad the last 3 days have been. I'm really struggling over here.
Well, Andy, listen, when you have bad days, some Prez, that is the way to fix it, dude. Just hang out with me. I had a great weekend. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Speaking of rainy days, Bryan Leonard joining us, everyone. How are you, Bryan?
I'm good. And Andy, you were talking about the Dead Show. Andy was at the Dead Show. He went to see the Indiana Pacers blow that last game. But yeah, it's oh man, that was talking about falling apart. But yeah, it's you mentioned the baseball. It's a holiday. Why isn't every team playing in Major League Baseball today? Everybody's got the day off. They want something to do, and they can't even go to the local baseball game because they took the day off. I don't understand it.
Well, Bryan, I got no answer for you at all. But I really appreciate that you laughed so hard at your own joke. Let's get into it. Chicago Cubs, they're playing the Brew Crew tonight. You like them. Short dog. Tell us why we should bet Chicago.
Yeah, like everything else I seem to send you on Mondays, the line changes. It's now basically a pick 'em with the Cubs. But that's the side I want to be on here. The obvious negative here for the Cubs is they played late last night in St. Louis. In a game, they had a 2-hour rain delay. So I know Teddy's not here to ask. So I'll answer already on the opposite side of the bet here. But the travel from St. Louis to Milwaukee isn't overwhelming. And we've got Justice Steele on the mound, and he's going for the Cubs today. He's had a rough go of it in his first 5 starts, a 5.68 ERA, but a solid 1.18 whip. And his problem is that he's getting hit harder than at any other time in his young career. His hard hit rate is at 46.2%. which is his career numbers is at 36.2. So 10% more players are hitting him harder this year, which is, the 36.2 is slightly better than league average. So he's in the past, he's done very well in that regard. He's got a 9% barrel percentage in 2024, as opposed to just 5.3% in his career. League average is about 8% in that regard. So it's something I think, 6.9% is league average. So I expect those to normalize a little bit. After 2 very good starts to open the season, he's allowed 15 earned runs in 20.2 innings his last 3 times out. He's a much better pitcher than what we've seen recently, and because of that, we're getting a nice number here on the superior starter in this matchup. Robert Gasser's going for the Brewers. He's been one of the Brewers' top prospects for a couple of years now, but nobody expected him to get off to this type of start. He enters plays with a 2.65 ERA, 1.12 whip, but a closer look at his advanced numbers show he's getting much better results than he's deserved. In 17 innings, he's only been able to strike out 6 batters. His strike percentage is worst in baseball, the 1 percentile in Major League Baseball. His whiff percentage is in the 20th percentile. There's no way you can have success as a Major League pitcher with those type of numbers in the long run. He faced the Cardinals in his debut, a team that had been slumping terribly offensively until the last weekend or so. But he followed that up with starts against the Pirates and the Marlins, 2 of the worst hitting teams in baseball. So he's faced 3 teams in Major League Baseball that have been slumping offensively. He's got good numbers, but he's going up against a pretty good hitting Cubs team here. I think the wrong team is favored. The line is starting to show that now. Give me the Cubs. As long as you're not laying more than 110 or so here, I think we got a nice player in the Cubs.
Love it, Brian. Moving on to your next day. I don't have a follow-up. Great breakdown there. Royals and Twins. This one's a little bit juicy, but sometimes it's good to lay the juice when you got a very obvious spot here. So what do we like in this game?
Yeah, you mentioned the spot, and that's the Royals off of a loss. They just had their 8-game winning streak broken last night. And if the line is right, I like to fade those teams in the upcoming game at that point. And I think the line is pretty good here. Alec Marsh takes the mound today for the Royals. He's really struggled in his rookie season with a 3-9 record, 5.69 ERA, 1.56 whip. But he's fared much better this year, going 4-1 with a 2.72 ERA, 107 whip. While we think Marsh has a solid future ahead of him, he is pitching over his head in 2024. Take a look at his at-bat stats. His exit velocity, chase percent, and whiff percent all show he's been an average pitcher this year despite the great results. So he's pitching a little bit over his head, and we're getting good value by fading him here. Because of his traditional stat numbers, he's getting more credit than he deserves. You take a look at who he's played. He did face the Orioles twice, and to his credit, he was very good against the Orioles, no doubt about it. But the other starts came against the White Sox, the Mets, the Blue Jays, the Mariners and the Angels, and the Tigers. None of those teams are in the top 10 offensively in WRC+. The Orioles are 6th. So he's feasted on a lot of bad hitting teams. And now he's taken on a Minnesota team who has a lot of offensive talent, although they haven't always put it all together this year. In our opinion, Joe Ryan is one of the best pitchers in baseball who doesn't get enough credit. He owns a career 2.92 ERA, 109 whip. His expected ERA, expected batting average, and walk percentage are all elite, all in the 80% or higher percentile. He faced these Royals in the season opener and held them to 1 earned run in 5 1/3 innings. And only twice all season did he not produce a quality start for the Twins. With Minnesota trailing Kansas City by 5 games and Cleveland by 7.5, we look for the Twins to start making a move in this division. With future star Royce Lewis about to make his return from the IL, and he's one of the best players in baseball when healthy, we'll finally be able to see what this talented offense of Minnesota can do. Give us Minnesota here. The line has moved in their direction, and I agree with it. And it may be a little bit higher than what a lot of people would expect from a team trailing the Royals in the standings. But the Royals have been getting a little bit lucky. Twins are a team due for some positive regression, and I love the pitching matchup here for Minnesota. We'll lay it with the Twins here.
There we go. Bryan Leonard, everybody. It's Monday, Memorial Day. Bryan, what do you got going for the clients, and how have you been doing?
I've been doing very well. 8-3 the last few days. Swept the card on Saturday. Yesterday I went 2-2, but had a nice profit. I say had the Colorado Rockies at plus 183 against the Phillies, broke their winning streak. So that was a nice payoff for our clients. Got 6 plays up today. You can get the entire card for today's action, or you could just buy the individual plays. The 2 plays I gave you here are our 3% plays. So those are no need to buy those. But if you want all of our selections today, you can get that right now. We've got a lot of good specials for everybody on the site right now in Major League Baseball as well as other sports. And it's a happy holiday here, and we'll try to save everybody some money.
Wonderful stuff. Bryan Leonard, you can find him at WagerTalk.com. Great guy, better hair. Andy Lang, lots of shows still left. The Warrior, Mark Zeno, will be joining us soon. He was in the military, and I thought it would be appropriate to have him on for Memorial Day. Tokyo Brandon, definitely not in the military, but either way, a kick-ass sports bettor. We have him on at the end of the show. If you guys like what you're hearing, take a second out of your day, hit that like button, please. And Andy, I've had the most insanely incredible NBA season playoffs. My NBA 29-15 in the NBA playoffs. I'm up 47 units of profit. It's just been absolutely sensational. I lost yesterday. I had the Timberwolves first half. Now I'm on a 17-3 NBA run, which is just so great. And I do have a play up tonight. I have a huge card for Memorial Day. I have both the side and total for tonight's NHL game. I have one NBA play and 3 baseball plays. You guys can get all of that over at WagerTalk.com for $29. There will be no daily presidential address today. Not a big deal because Andy's got a big game breakdown coming up later on. What, my friend, did bettors learn this weekend?
Well, it's a little bit more of a question I want to pose to you. Does negative energy outside of betting affect your bets?
Yes.
So
100%.
Okay. I agree. I've been told that this is not really a thing. But I listen. So here's my story for this weekend. It was just not a good weekend. There was a golfer named Grayson Murray who passed away on Saturday morning. It was very sad. My very first podcast I ever did was a golf podcast, and we had a lot of fun at the expense of Grayson Murray. Unfortunately, a lot of substance abuse. He had some crazy incidents where he broke multiple clubs in a round. There was a round where he fired his caddy. Social media gaffes, and it turns out that he had really turned his life around. The outpouring love that the golf community showed was pretty amazing, and it was very much a bummer. It rained here in Indianapolis, so all my outdoor plans couldn't really do those. The Indianapolis 500 gets rained, delayed, just everything, and we start losing some bets in some really strange ways. We don't have too many bets, but it culminates with last night, Prez, where I was almost done with betting for the weekend, and I was like, you know what, Derek Lively, over 8.5 rebounds and assists. This guy's been crushing it. He's been great. He plays 27 minutes a game. So the game starts. He has 5 quick ones in 9 minutes. Then he falls down and gets accidentally kneed in the back of the head, and he's out for the game. So that's how we lose. And so I believe in the energy and the negativity, and I was going to pose that to you, and I'm glad you agree with me. So I'm happy that you have a bunch of plays. For me, just the negativity around me is not going well. So today I'm laying off. We have our French Open plays, but I don't put those in. My associate Corbin does those. So I am taking today off from bets. I need kind of a little bit of a fresh start. So I'm glad you answered it already. I was going to ask, my question to you was, does negativity outside of betting have a direct impact on your bets? I believe it does. I've been told that that's kind of silly. So I'd love your thoughts on it.
Well, I mean, listen, everybody knows I'm slightly superstitious. When I'm on a roll, I wear the same pants and never take them off. I in my golf bag, I have every single color golf ball imaginable. When I hit a bad shot, which is often, I change ball colors. So I am superstitious in that sense. But I've always known that, you know, if Vivian and I get into a fight, for instance, before one of my bets goes off, it's a loser, guaranteed. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works, but it does. And I'd be curious to hear from our listeners once this video goes up. Post in the comment section. Do you guys agree with that? I mean, you know, you wake up and it's just a shitty day, and you know, you got into an argument with your kids or your wife or your husband or somebody at work, and you just know ahead of time that your bets are going to be losers. I don't know how it works, but Andy, the same thing. It's like if I have one of those like 0-3 nights, I refresh Bitcoin knowing it just plummeted $1,000. So
That's exactly right. When it rains, it pours. There's just something about, I don't call it the gambling gods, a higher power, an energy, a karma. I don't know what it is, but and honestly, the key to this is, listen, we're all going to go through losing streaks, but it's about limiting the damage when you go through those. One of my favorite sayings is the best way to make money is to not lose it. And it's a really, really, it's amazing how quickly you can just get smoked going on a bad
that's
losing
one
streak.
of your sayings?
I love that saying. I love that
That
saying.
saying makes no sense. The best way to make money is to not lose it. I would say the best way to keep money is to not lose it. I've never met a person who's made money by not losing money, like actually made money.
Well, so if you're not losing money, you have more money to put in your bets, your bankroll, your retirement, your investments, your business. So when you're going on a losing streak, pull back, don't push.
Do you have any other really crappy sayings that we should talk about on air?
See, this is what I mean. When it rains, it pours. Like everything bad is happening to me. I come
on.
Dude,
you
just said, "Oh, I know what'll make it. I know what'll make it happy. I know what'll make you happier is doing the show with the Prez." Oh,
you know what? I'll make you
what
smile.
What a great start.
Okay, let's have a moment. Namaste. Let's have a namaste moment.
All right, I feel better already.
Okay, so I went to a Grateful Dead cover band on Saturday night. Bumped into a very, very old friend named Avi. And my wife hasn't stopped talking about him since. Where do you go from there, Andy? Like, oh, he has the best energy ever. Oh, I love Avi. Avi this, Avi that, Avi. How do you address something like that? Maybe just give him a night together and get it over and done with?
Don't even mention him. He doesn't exist anymore. You don't bring him up. You're very passive when it's brought up, and you change the subject. It'll get out of our system very quickly.
Okay. Well, I'm Boss 49. Stop the negativity. There's nothing negative about me today at all. Look at these pipes. How can anyone be negative about that? Played a poker tournament last night, had kings versus jacks and queen king, lost to both. Mark Zeno joining us. Mark, welcome to the show, my friend. And I text you. That's a heavy scruff you've got going. It's very impressive, just for the record.
Thank you, Prez. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I wish. Mark, it is Memorial Day. You are. I mean, I don't know if you're still in the Army, but you are definitely.
I'm still serving. I'm still serving. I've got 25 plus years in. That just means I'm old and I haven't killed anybody I wasn't supposed to. So it all works out in our favor. But as a soldier here, I'll have to come to Andy Lang's defense for two reasons. One, I agree. I actually passed last night. Put a pass in. After I had Boston's team total over 115 in game 3 and they landed on 114, it was enough to drive me crazy. So I just took the day off yesterday, got rid of the negative energy. We get back at it today. But Andy, another way of saying what you said is as simple as sometimes the best bet you make is the one that you don't make, right? It's the same way of your saying. Sometimes the best bet you can make is the one you don't make. And just passing on certain days and certain times to clear your head is probably a smart idea.
Yeah. And Mark, I mean, I live by that rule when I invest in companies as well. Whenever I'm being pitched an idea, Prez, can you put $700 million into my business, which is like 2% of my net worth. Whenever I'm listening to these ideas, I'm always looking to say no. When I'm trying to make a bet, I'm always looking to say no. It's when you can't say no that you find the best opportunities in life. But go into sports betting, not looking to make bets, but looking to not make bets. And it's the same with investing money, especially in private equity deals, which, by the way, unless you have a lot of disposable income, do not invest in private equity deals. Firstly, only about 5% work. And secondly, you're looking at 7 years before you exit regardless. So piece of advice. Mark, let's talk Cincinnati, and we are going to talk about Memorial Day in a bit. You like them on the money line. You put them in at 130. I think it's moved to 150, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they open around minus 130, minus 135, and money has been pouring in on Cincinnati here, given the situation. And you heard Brian Leonard talk about it before. St. Louis had that 2-hour rain delay, played a game late last night. Now they got to go on the road and travel. Granted, it's not far travel, but still got to get on a plane and do all that. And the pitching matchup kind of works in our favor, too. You know, as the Reds are facing Lance Lynn, who had a 3 ERA through the first month of the season. But in the month of May is at 5.2 for his ERA. The walks are starting to pile up. He's got 20 walks in 50 innings. His whip is nearly 1.3. And this is a guy that's giving away a lot of free passes. I know the Reds are a lineup that hasn't really made a lot of people pay as of late. But when you're giving away free passes here, it's always going to make things a little bit more complicated. Plus, you're getting Nick Lodolo starting for the Reds here, the lefty. 3-2 on the year, a very respectable 3.34 ERA and a 0.94 whip. So not giving away those free passes. But the Cardinals, bottom 5 in batting average, OPS, and WRC plus on the road against lefties this year. That gives us a little bit of an edge here. The total itself in this game, guys, was a little alarming at 9.5, considering the Cardinals don't hit lefties well and the Reds haven't hit anybody. But I think when you're sitting here seeing that higher number of 9.5, that's actually going to favor Cincinnati because they're telling you, hey, they're going to hit today and they're going to score runs here. And if they're doing that, I like them in this spot here against a very manageable number at minus 130, minus 135.
Yeah, I love it, Mark. That rain delay was insane. I can't imagine trying to come back and being at full strength, trying to go for that. So great breakdown. I know you've got another game coming up here. Looking at taking the run line in this one. So walk us through why the run line warrants a wager in this one.
Well, the Nationals have been one of the best run line teams in baseball, one of the most profitable run line teams in baseball because they're always an underdog. But you get them in a spot here going up against the Braves and Charlie Morton. And I've told people repeatedly that Charlie Morton is a very feast or famine starter, right? Like you're going to get really solid numbers out. You're going to get that 6-inning, 1-run kind of start, or you're going to get 5 innings, giving up 4 runs kind of start. And it's been a mixed bag for Charlie Morton for a better part of the last 2 years of seeing those starts come on and off here. And I think we get this spot here where we get the Charlie Morton who has kind of, struggled a little bit. You look at his 2 outings against the Cubs, only lasted 8 innings in both outings, and then gave up 6 runs. So he's coming off facing a team that in his last 2 starts that's able to hit the ball. Now, the Nationals really aren't a great hitting team, but what I like here in this spot for Washington is the fact that we're going to get the 1.5, and the Braves are a team that's still not hitting, and they just lose Ronald Acuna for the year. They're dealing with that devastation news that the ACL is done. I know they're getting Sean Murphy, their catcher, back in the lineup today. Probably take him a little while to get going here, but you're having a Braves team that's having trouble scoring runs, having to take 1.5 or taking 1.5 with Washington, not laying 1.5 with the Braves. I think we're in a great spot here with the Washington Nationals as one of the best run line teams in baseball. We're going to jump on it here, and we get a very manageable number, taking the 1.5 at around minus 120, minus 125 juice. So let's jump on the Nationals here, taking the 1.5.
Mark Zeno joining us. No follow-up questions today. We're going to do an abbreviated show. Teddy will be back tomorrow. Andy will be co-hosting with Steve Merrill on Friday. Mark, so it's Memorial Day. Andy gave some best wishes to all the people who served. I want to do the same. I know you've lost some people to the war. I know you have a folded flag behind you. Shout out to you for being a warrior. I wish I was one. One of my dreams in life, Mark, and then this is not warrior, but I've always wanted to hold somebody up against a wall by their neck. I'm waiting for my grandson because I figure out if once I have a grandson, he'd be like 1 year old, I could do it. You could probably do it with me. Thank you for serving, brother, and continuing to serve. Is there anything you'd like to say in regards to Memorial Day, and then we will, and then promote yourself, etc.?
Sure, no, absolutely. Listen, I appreciate the sentiment and the gratitude. Thank you guys very much. But Memorial Day is about those who have made the ultimate sacrifice and are no longer with us, and our brothers and sisters in arms who have dedicated their life to their country and given their life to their country. And those are the people that we remember today. And we honor their sacrifice. Remember their families and their loved ones who are carrying on without them. But it's those that we lost in battle and those that we lost in combat over the years that and especially the last 20 years of combat that we've been through that we're honoring today. So we keep those families and those names in our thoughts and our prayers with us every day.
Yeah, well said. I mean, it is the ultimate sacrifice. And even if you don't lose your life and you get out of it unscathed, you're still going to have nightmares. And, man, I don't think there's anything more, I don't know what the word is, just impressive, loyal, morally excellent to serve your country, whichever country it is, even if you're not on the right side. You think you are, and you're prepared to put your life down for it. So shout out to all the Warriors out there. Mark, what do you have to promote?
Back on track here in the NBA playoffs, 6-3 run in the NBA playoffs. We've got one play tonight in the Eastern Conference Finals here up over at the site, wt.buzz/MZ. So jump in. We've done a real good job cashing winners and making money for our clients here. So wt.buzz/MZ, you'll get that play in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight.
Mark, Zeno, everyone, thanks for joining us. Have a kick-ass day, dude. Guys, hit that like button, please. Would be greatly appreciated. Only 38 likes. We could do way better than that. Also, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We're picking up about 1,000 new subscribers a week. We're on a little bit of a roll. I'd like to continue that. Thanks to everybody in that chat room, except this guy, Dan Alexander, who doesn't stop talking in the chat room. Andy, yeah, he's Andy. I mean, why does he constantly talk in the chat room, dude?
Well, it's the National Lacrosse Championship game today. They're in a rain delay, so people were asking about any plays on that game. So it's going to be an amazing game as soon as it gets going. So
yeah, it's going to be so good, dude. It's going to be like an epic masterpiece. Who's playing in it?
Notre Dame and Maryland.
Dan, what's the pick?
Chads and it's overs.
Dan likes the over in that game. I don't know what the over is, but the over, and Dan's amazing at lacrosse betting.
Yeah, he's amazing at it, and the rain is probably going to cause a lot of chaotic bounces, which means a lot more goals. It's not coming off of a dry surface where the goalie can get a really good read on it. These guys are going to shoot it into the ground. It's going to bounce off the water. A lot of skimming, a lot of bouncing weird directions, which leads to a lot of goals. So,
where do people watch this game?
ESPN.
Okay. Does Dan know that nobody can hear him?
No, they can hear me. I turn my mic on. I can say whatever I want right now.
I'm trying to
oh my God, your mic is on.
I turn my mic on. They can hear me.
Daniel, why don't you tell everyone why to bet the over? Go ahead, Dan.
No, Andy touched upon it really well. I mean, it's a low total. I get it. You know, people playing tight for a championship game, but with the rain, a lot of people want to say, oh, under, it's going to be raining. That's kind of a misnomer in lacrosse, Prez, because when it rains, especially on a grass field like they're playing on at the link, the ball, it bounces a lot stranger, so it's hard for goalies to get a read. Both these goalies are really good, which is why we have a low total, but both the offenses are pretty damn good too. So over. Who doesn't want to play over in a championship game, Prez? Come on.
Okay, fair enough. Anything on the Ringette championship game that's coming up tomorrow?
I have nothing on the Ringette. No, but I'll get handicapping on that, Prez.
That was one of my favorite things to play in high school, Ringette. Andy Lang, it's your big game breakdown.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at UFC. We got an underdog. I've been good on these underdogs on this show. And Prez, this is the OnlyFans theory. I promised that I would bring this up for you. So we'll break down Eileen Perez and Jocelyn Edwards. And I like Jocelyn Edwards at plus 170 here. So Eileen Perez is the one with the big black eye there. And she's the one that has the OnlyFans. And one of her favorite things to do in the ring, Prez, is twerk. And it's hilarious when she wins because she literally does this. So I love her for various reasons. She's coming off of 2 straight wins, but I think this is a bad stylistic matchup for her. She likes to grapple, wrestle, and take things to the ground. And Jocelyn Edwards very, very strong. And we saw in her last fight against Nora Connell that she can hold her own with stuffing takedowns and in the wrestling and on the grappling. She's not great, but she's good enough to stuff Eileen Perez. And we saw Eileen Perez get very tired in the last fight. And you can see that picture of her with that black eye. That's from striking on the feet. Jocelyn Edwards is going to be better on the feet. Eileen Perez, I do not think is going to win the third round because her cardio just isn't there. So all we need is Jocelyn Edwards to win one of the first 2 rounds. And I think she's strong enough that she can initiate the clinch, keep it on the feet. And I don't really understand this line. I think it's because Jocelyn Edwards is coming off a loss. But when you go back and watch that fight, I'm not really sure Jocelyn Edwards lost that one. So I think we're getting a really, really good value here on Jocelyn Edwards, who should have the striking advantage. And we're going to fade OnlyFans Eileen Perez and the twerking queen. So that is your big game breakdown. Get you a little plus 170 for this Saturday.
Excellent stuff. And if you want to find Andy later tonight, he'll be on OnlyFans checking out Eileen Perez. Is that correct?
It's free. Yeah, her page is free. You don't even need to pay for her OnlyFans. You can just go check it out for free.
Why is she doing it?
Well, she has another pay. She has a paid one that I think is a little bit more. It's kind of the little appetizer. It's like our free play page.
Prez. It's free for the love
it's like
of
our
the
free
game.
plays page on WagerTalk. You go to the free plays, you kind of see a little bit. You go, oh, I like that one, and now I'll go for the paid subscription. So that's all it is.
Okay, well, in keeping with Memorial Day, Andy, Tokyo Brandon joining us. He's part of the army. Not a good army. It's the KISS Army. The KISS Army. So happy Memorial Day to you. Part of the KISS Army. You've given... Look, you could give your life in an actual war, or you could give your life listening to shitty music. Tokyo has decided to do that. So lots of respect, my friend. Anything you want to add?
They've sold more records than the Grateful Dead.
Blah, sold more records. Like, Andy, this is the same shit he gets on every freaking day. It's like, Tokyo, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Big Mac is the most eaten hamburger in the world. Does that make it great? No. Yes. Coca-Cola is one of probably the most drunk drink in the world outside of water. Does that make it great? No. Drake is one of the biggest musicians on the planet. Does that make it great? No. Pretty much whatever the masses like is not great. So take your KISS and right up the top. Okay.
Money.
Yeah, hey. I love Gene and Paul. Love them. And I hope they make as much money as they can make. And Gene's wife, Shannon, if you've never seen the movie Hot Dog, mwah!
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
That hot dog scene. Okay. T-John Walker, strikeouts, over 3.5. Let's go.
Prez, I love how you pronounce everything French, but it's actually Taiwan. But that's okay. Let's go to Taiwan Walker and talk about his strikeouts today. So 3.5 is way too low, and it's a little juicy. It's probably minus 150, minus 160 in that area. But he's thrown 4 or more strikeouts in all but one start, and in that start, he was actually removed at only 40 or 50 pitches. But he was actually pitching well in that game. He didn't get crushed. So if you look at how he performs against the Giants, he performs actually really well. He has great stats against the Giants. I realize the Giants are on a little bit of a roll right now, but I think the hate for Taiwan Walker is a little much for me. 3.5 is just way too low. If you look at his strikeout rate, it's right around 7 per 9, and the Giants are also 7 per 9. So I think that's why it's this low. But he just had a start against San Francisco last month, and he K'd them 6 times. So 3.5 is just too low. So take the over 3.5 strikeouts for Taiwan Walker today.
I have absolutely no follow-up for this, but I have a quick Gene Simmons story, Brandon, for you.
Cool.
When I worked at a hotel years ago, I worked in the restaurant, and we had this really big pot of coffee that we refilled guests' coffee cups for, and he really liked it, and he offered me $200 for it right then and there, and I was like, okay, absolutely, no problem. So he gave me $200 for this coffee thing.
Wow.
And my manager was like, "Did you just sell our coffee pot to Gene Simmons for $200?" I was like, "Yes,
Hell
I
yeah.
did." He was like,
Hell yeah.
"Smart move. I would have done the exact same thing. We'll get another one." So
And
that's
if the
what
kept
company
the money.
finds you,
yeah,
just buy a new one.
yeah. I kept the money. This was, oh my gosh, this was probably 20
That's
years
awesome.
ago. He was
I
he
thought
was
he
a
was a
character,
jerk.
man. He was a super nice guy to us. He's very
Really?
strange.
Awesome.
Oh, very very strange. Like really weird.
They all
but
are.
he was always
They all
super
are.
nice. So I met so many celebrities working there, and I don't really have too many bad stories about many of them. Joey Lawrence is probably the worst I've ever met. I would tell that to his face. The guy from Blossom, the guy that would do the whoa. Yeah, he was the worst. He's an awful person. Anyway, so you're going to talk about the outs recorded, and I know you describe this category here, Tokyo, because it's very bettable to people that know MLB, but just describe what it is.
Yeah, I did a WagerTalk video on this. You can find it at WagerTalk's YouTube page, describing what the bet is for outs recorded. But essentially, one inning is 3 outs. So if it's a 15 and a half, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 15 outs is 5 innings. So if it's 15 and a half, you're betting whether the pitcher's going to get a strike, whether he's going to get an out in the 6th inning or not. The 5th inning is the most, what shall I say, the most tumultuous inning because they either finish the 5th or they don't finish the 5th. If they finish the 5th, they're qualified to get a win. Many managers will leave people in through the 5th inning, even if they're struggling, if the team's winning, to get the pitcher a win. Wins is one category I rarely look at in Major League Baseball because the pitcher can't control it if his team bats well or not. You could be Tom Seaver, throw a one hitter, which is a home run, and you could lose the game 1-0. So I never put any credence in wins, but the outs recorded is basically 1 inning is 3 outs.
Well,
so I'll just get into Trevor Rogers thing, since you don't have a follow-up. What's that?
Andy, deep math from Tokyo Brandon. So let me summarize. Essentially, an inning has 3 outs.
Yes.
If you divide 15 by 3, you get 5. 5's a tough
5
inning to
innings.
get through.
Yep.
Andy Lang, shoeless Joe Jackson just called. He wants his hat back.
Oh, you're on fire today. All right, well, let's give an
you
outs prop here. Trevor Rogers, and you're liking the under. So, Prez, that means Tokyo does not think, if you divide by 3, it means he will not get to Tokyo. Go ahead and describe why you think.
So 1 plus 1
basically-
is 2.
Yeah. When I met Vivian Prez, she talked about me the whole time too, like she's talking about your friend. So
No, she did not, Tokyo.
maybe she just
She did not.
okay.
And you
we'll move on.
can dream. It's fine. Go watch Hot Dogs. It's cool. We do love you, Tokyo, but she did not.
You do love me, but you'd never know it by how you talk about me. But hey, that's good.
Shit.
So we'll talk about Trevor.
Bullshit. You are wrong. So in my world, if you tease someone, you love them. I don't tease people I don't love. It's called taking the piss in England. And
I know
you
that.
are totally wrong. I have deep love for you. It's why I bother you. The person I bother the most in the whole world is my mother. She birthed me. And I get incredible joy bothering the shit out of her, as I do bothering the shit out of you. So you are wrong. Not only do I love you, Tokyo, as a guy, but as a employee of our company. I mean, you're literally the best sports bettor. You're the best sports handicapper we have, period. End of story. There's not one single person better than you at betting. I don't judge you for having bad music taste and shitty hats. I don't. It's okay. Deep love, bro. Deep.
Thank
Now
you.
go ahead.
I'm in a hotel. If you go to my Twitter
we
X,
know.
you'll see me riding a 300-mile-an-hour train and all that stuff. And I actually took a picture of a Japanese guy on the train. He was drinking some sake and eating peanuts. I was like, this is heaven in Japan, right? So go to my Twitter. You can see all that. But anyway,
Heaven in Japan, riding a train, drinking sake and eating peanuts. Oh,
eating
if
peanuts.
I
It's
could
heaven.
have such low expectations, my life would be incredible. Can you just give out your next pick, please?
I was being sarcastic, but okay. Yeah. Trevor Rogers has not recorded an out in the 6th inning in 5 straight starts, and he has really poor numbers against the Padres. I almost said Chargers. So he has a 333 batting average against and a 789 OPS, which not horrible, but it's not very good. And given the fact that he has not recorded an out in the 6th inning in 5 straight starts, I don't think he's going to start doing it today. He generally gets pulled at 80, 90 pitches. Not a candidate to go through into the 6th inning. So it's a small play. It's only a 1%. I actually have a 4% play in Major League Baseball today, which obviously I like it more because it's 4% instead of 1%. But this is a 1% client play that I put out. Don't bank the farm on it, but I don't think he's going to record an out in the 6th inning. 1% play there.
There we go. Number 1 baseball expert this year. Number 1 in the last 7 days. Number 1 in the last 30 days. Number 1 most profitable expert over the last 3 years. On and on and on and on and on. If Gene Simmons was a sports bettor, he would buy Tokyo Brandon's plays. Okay, we don't need to see your tongue, bro. Like, seriously? You're an old man, bro. Okay. What do you got for the clients today?
I've been eating
now cookies. Okay.
No. This is a black sesame rice crackers.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways,
everybody sits around go, damn, I wish we had some black sesame rice crackers. What do you have to promote?
Sesame is underrated. It's actually really good.
Okay.
4%. 4%. I got a 4% best bet out in Major League Baseball today. And it's one that I really like. Obviously, I made it 4%. I have a couple other plays, but 2 of them I gave out here on the show. So if you could get my 4% play, or we're having a Memorial Day special today, which is if you buy 1 week of full access plays, you get the 2nd week for half price. So essentially $11 a day, you can get 14 all access plays. I'm number 1 the last 3 days, 7 days, 30 days, number 1 3 of the last 4 years. So be a good time to invest and see what I can do for you.
There we go. Thank you, Tokyo Brandon. Be well and enjoy your day. Andy, my kind of son-in-law, he will be. He's in the military. And today there is military discount day in Canada. I'm going shopping. I do it every year. Some of the stores are like 70% off. It's awesome, dude. I take him with me. He's got his like military card. We spend a fortune. So I'm going to have an incredible afternoon. Guys, remember, I got 1 NBA play tonight, 2 NHL, 3 baseball. Andy Lang, thank you so much for co-hosting with me. We'll see you throughout the week. Have a happy, brilliant Memorial Day. And please think about the Warriors we lost. They gave their lives for all of us. Thanks to them. Shout out to everybody who took some time out of their day to watch the show and participate. And, well, that's it. Be good.